Unit 13. Innovation. Recording 13.1.
The idea of a lone inventor who makes a discovery or has a sudden clever idea or brainwave is maybe a little out of date today. While these types of pioneers do still exist, these days companies often have large R&D departments, teams of people who are constantly innovating and perfecting designs. Perhaps they begin with a concept and then build a prototype or working model. Sometimes, during testing, there is a setback when it becomes clear the design has a fault. At this point, maybe it is time to start again or go back to the drawing board. More work is done and there is a breakthrough. A solution is found. The product can be retested and then hopefully manufactured. The company will apply for a patent for the design so that others cannot copy it and steal the idea.
Recording 13.2.
When you make a presentation, the first stage is to plan it. You should start by thinking about your audience, who they are, what they know about the subject, and what they expect from you. Think also about what their attitude will be to you. Will they be interested, enthusiastic, cooperative, or perhaps critical? Are you presenting to a group from your own culture or to people of different cultures? All these factors will influence the way you approach the presentation. If possible, try to visit the room where you're going to give the talk. Check the equipment and make sure your voice carries to the back of the room if you don't use a microphone. Look at the seating arrangements and make sure they are what you want. You also want to feel comfortable and relaxed when you're presenting. You're now ready to prepare what you're going to say. Stage 1 is the opening. A good opening is essential as you will be nervous and you need to grab the attention of the audience. You start by introducing yourself and then you use a technique to get the audience's interest. We call this the hook, which focuses the audience's attention on what you're saying. You can do this in various ways. You can ask a question, use a famous quotation, use a striking visual image, appeal directly to the audience's interests or needs. Once you have the audience's attention, you should tell them the structure of your presentation. You give them a map of the talk with signposts along the route so they know what you will cover in your talk. After the opening and a brief introduction of your subject, you come to the main body of your presentation. Then you have a conclusion during which you summarise your key points and give your final opinion and recommendations. After that, it's the question and answer session.
Recording 13.3.
Some tips now about how you deliver the presentation, how you actually perform it. Firstly, what about the opening 2 minutes? You'll be very nervous, almost everyone is. Some people deal with this by writing down the opening 2 minutes, marking the stresses and pauses, and practicing it again and again. They memorise the opening, and that helps to calm their nerves. Rehearse your presentation using the equipment you will use when you do the real thing. Have a backup plan. What will you do if your projector doesn't work? If your computer crashes? If you cannot find your slide tray because you left it at the hotel? Keep good eye contact with your audience at all times, even when you use PowerPoint or the OHP for visual effects. Eye contact will help you show that you are speaking to the audience, not at them. You need to build a rapport with the audience and to develop a warm and friendly relationship with them. Enthusiasm is important. If you are enthusiastic, your audience will be too. The right body language is important. Generally speaking, it's better to stand than sit when making your presentation. Avoid repetitive, annoying gestures. but dramatic gestures can be effective when you make key points. Vary the speed of your voice. A pause is often very effective. Vary your intonation. Change the pitch of your voice by using a high or low tone. Vary the volume of your voice. You can speak loudly or quietly to attract your audience's attention. Follow the KISS principle. Keep it short and simple. Use short words and sentences. Don't use jargon unless your audience understand it. Generally present concrete facts rather than abstract ideas. Give examples to support your points. Use visuals which can be seen by all the audience. Don't put too much on a single transparency or slide. Visuals add variety and interest to your talk. Finally, end with a bang. Give the audience some memorable words or phrases which sum up your key messages. Or use a visual or slide which will remain in the memory of your audience. Thank them for giving up their time to attend your presentation and ask the audience if they have any questions. Remember, a presentation is a performance. What you say is important, but how you say it is even more important.
Recording 13.4.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming to my presentation. I know you're all very busy, so I'll be as brief as possible. OK then. I'm going to talk about the new chocolate bar we're putting on the market, the Frasier's Premium Bar. I'll tell you about the test launch we carried out in the southwest of England a few weeks ago. My presentation is divided into 3 parts. First, I'll give you some background about the launch. After that, I'll tell you how we got on and assess its effectiveness. Finally, I'll outline our future plans for the product. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Right, let's start with the background to the launch. As you know, Frasier's is an orange and nut bar with a distinctive taste. It's been thoroughly tested in focus groups and special attention was paid to packaging. It's wrapped in a metallic foil. The colours are rich, strong, to give high visual impact. OK, everyone? Yes, Johan, you have a question. So, that's the background. Right, let's now move on to the test launch. How successful was it? Well, in 2 words, very successful. If you look at the graph, you'll see the bar's actual sales compared with forecast sales. Quite a difference, isn't there? The sales were over 20% higher than we predicted. In other words, a really good result, well above our expectations. The sales show that the pricing of the product was correct, and they show that as a premium line, the Frasier's bar should be successful nationwide. To sum up, a very promising test launch. I believe the bar has great potential in the market. Right, where do we go from here? Obviously, we'll move on to stage 2 and have a national advertising and marketing campaign. In a few months, you'll be visiting our sales outlets and taking orders, I hope, for the new product. Thanks very much. Any questions?